آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. الحمد لله، أسأله عز اسمه المعونة وأبرأ إليه من الحول والقوة وأرغب إليه في أن يجعل كل ما نتصرف فيه منصرفا إلى رضاه ومصروفا عما يؤدي إلى سخطه. Amen. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of the universe. We as well seek Allah's blessing to continue to be upon our noble, respected Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, his companions, and the righteous one till the day of resurrection. I greet every one of us by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So firstly, before we are going to start today's tafsir, I would like to pray for those that have impact on my success towards learning. I would like to start from Sheikh Azhar, Sheikh Ahmad Tayyib. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to be with him, to guide him. And as well, I pray for my Mudir, وهو الشيخ عبد اللطيف الجارو ومفسر ولاية الحوشم. I pray for my Mudir as well, Sheikh Abdul Lateef Yusuf Abdul. He is the present chief Mufassir of Oshungo land. With these two sheikhs, I pray for the founder of this great academy, Sayyidah Hamdallah Abdul Rafi Hamza. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from his mercy continue to be with her. May he protect all and may he take this great academy high. From her as well, I pray for all the management at large, the organizers, the teachers, and all the management at large. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide every one of us and count all this as an act of worship for every one of us. Amen. So I as well pray for the parents and the students as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let them reap the fruit of their hard labor upon their children and grant all the students beneficial knowledge. Amen. Innahu waliyyu dhalik wal qadiru alayh. Please, before I'm going to continue, I believe the voice is clear. Please, can you hear me clearly, please? Okay, anyway. So the verse of discourse today, it is the same Surah Al-Baqarah, that is Quran chapter 2, from verse 231 to 233. Verse 231 to 233. So I would like to as well share the verses on the screen, whereby we are going to look into it together, inshallah. So as I'm struggling to, I can't do that. Okay. Good. So as I'm going to be sharing it, the first thing I want us to know concerning these verses is it is all about talaq, which is known as divorce in Islam. So what are the rulings of talaq? What are the necessary steps one needs to take before later resorting to talaq? That is, before we later resort to divorce, what are the things we need to do? The first thing I would like to let us understand about the verse we want to discuss today is the word talaq. It is just the act of freeing a human whereby there will not be any right upon the husband over such woman anymore. We are not talking about the so-called divorcee, that is, it arises into 3 different types. The first one is known as Tolaku Roji'i. The second one is known as Tolaku Bainuna Sugro, while the last one, which is the third one, is known as Tolaku Bainuna Kubro. What is the meaning of Tolaku Roji'i? Tolaku Roji'i, it is just the act of divorcing a human for the first time. By the time the husband pronounced the slogan of divorce, such woman has to wait for a certain period, which is known as a waiting period, which is called Salasatu Quru, for 3 months. Such woman will still remain in that what on the same roof with that husband for complete good 3 period. That is, she's going to do a cycle 3 times, at least for what? For 3 months. And during this period, before the end of the period, if the husband later resorts to what? To take her back so that they can reconcile, whereby he also has what? The right to do such talaq is known as talaq raj'i, whereby they didn't go separately at the end of the day. And the husband will still have full right upon such woman. That is the first type of talaq. It cannot be either for the first round, that is, maybe the husband, maybe a man divorced his wife, the later resorts into reconciliation for the first time. The second time as well, he still divorced her, they still what? Resort into reconciliation. This period, this picture is known as what? Whereby the husband still have the access to that woman again to what? To still continue with her. The second type, it is the act of, okay, for the first time, they resort to reconciliation. For the second time as well, they resort to reconciliation. And and for the second time, the data was he freed such woman, whereby they didn't continue with the relationship anymore. Such talaq is known as talaq bainuna sugra, whereby if such husband still want to marry the woman again, he has to pay the necessary rights upon the woman again before he can be able to marry her for the second time. While the third type of talaq, it is that of the one known as talaq bainuna al-kubra. That is, it is when the husband divorced his wife 3 times. The first one, maybe he divorced her, they reconcile. The second time, he divorced her, they reconcile. But the third one, which is the third one, he divorced her. By the time he divorced her, there is no any reconciliation. Before such husband can have access to such woman again, such woman must be allowed to marry another man, and he will stay there if that other man die or whatever, or maybe for a long period, maybe the second husband died, or he also was divorced her legally. It is then that the first husband, they can now have the access to her. So those are just the 3 pictures of talaq that we have. But the verse of discourse today, it is just calling our attention to that of the second type, that of the first and second type of talaq that I've just explained. That is, it can be talaq raj'iyya, that is the one that husbands still have access to reconcile with the wife so that they can still continue. Or it can be talaq bainuna sugro, that is for the first time, is trying to to us. So before we proceed, one of the things that for you to allow talaq, does it mean that Allah is in support of talaq? No. Based on the fact, or I can't even say the hadith, because there's a little bit controversy upon what I want to say now. Some say it is hadith, is authentic hadith, while some say it is not authentic. By and large, what we just need from it is what is the meaning of that word, which says that inna abghadu halal inda Allah ta'ala at-talaq. That is verily one of the things that is lawful, that Allah makes it to be lawful. And at the same time, it is not what Allah doesn't even support it. It is what it is divorce. Inna abghadu al-halal inda Allah ta'ala at-talaq. So if you know that, Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 231, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَإِذَا طَلَّقْتُمُ النِّسَاءَ فَبَلَغْنَ أَجَلَهُنَّ فَأَمْسِكُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ أَوْ سَرِّحُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ وَلَا تُمْسِكُوهُنَّ ضِرَارًا لِتَعْتَدُوا وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ فَقَدْ ظَلَمَ نَفْسَهُ وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا آيَاتِ اللَّهِ هُزُوًا وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَمَا أَنزَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ وَالْحِكْمَةِ يَعِظُكُمْ بِهِ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. That is the first verse. So look at this verse. It precedes with what? The word that precedes this particular verse is known as wa'ul. It is trying to join the message we have in this particular verse with the verse that comes before it, with the word, with the latter, that is with the former. That is the rulings of this verse. It has a great connection with the verse that comes before it. If you now look at Allah said, وَإِذَا طَلَّقْتُمُ النِّسَاءَ, by the time you divorce woman, that is, you divorce your wife. Look at that word. Allah used the word past tense verb, which shows that, okay, the past tense verb we have here, if you decide to explain it to mean that, okay, whenever when the divorce has already occurred, we are still on the way. If you decide to as well what to explain it by saying, okay, by the time you have the intention of divorcing your woman, we are still on the way. But the most important is that Allah now proceed by saying, by the time you divorce them, فَبَلَغْنَ أَجَلَهُنَّ. Before we go there, that the divorce, after you must have done the necessary thing, that is the stages of reconciliation, if it doesn't work out between both parties. And without you started by saying, okay, the last thing to do is just divorce her. And I now said that فَإِذَا بَلَغْنَ أَجَلَهُنَّ, such women, she has the opportunity of 3 periods, which was mentioned in the previous verses, that وَالْمُطَلَّقَاتُ يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوءٍ. So such woman is allowed to still remain under the custody of the man, of that husband, for that during the period of waiting, which is the 3 months, that is, let's say the 3 periods, by the time the human is almost rich, that it is almost maybe, for example, maybe that counting, that stay period is going to end by tomorrow. It is not, it has not ended already, but it's almost going to an end. So that's the meaning of the first word, Fa'ida Balaguna, because we still are still going to see the same context in the next verse. The same word, the same word, the same letters, the same way mentioned in the next verse. But the one we have here, we are to explain the word balagna here by counting that balagna here as well as a metaphor. It is not used the word. We are not going to explain it based on its word, the original meaning. So it means by the time the woman, that is the divorcee, is almost reached the waiting period, maybe either it remains a day, it remains some hours before that period is going to be over, and you later, please, I'm coming, and you later reconcile. That is, the husband later decided to take her back. And I said, فَأَمْسِكُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ. Such husband must take her back with the mindset of what? Of honor. That is, such husband has the opportunity of taking such divorcee, that is such a human, back, which is known as what? Talaq Raj'i, the one I've mentioned before. That is, he has the opportunity of taking her back, but with what? With the mindset of honor. He's going to be doing the necessary things upon her. All the rights of such woman, the husband will still be what? Be the one responsible for it. He's going to take her back. So the husband have the choice of doing such. Or if the later say, okay, there's no point in reconciling with her again, if you are not interested in taking her back, then you can as well free her. But if you want to free her as well, free her with the mindset of what? Honor. Don't free her by having in mind that you want to disgrace her, or that you want to belittle her, or you want to break her. You shouldn't do that. You should do either if you want to take her or you want to leave her. Both must be with honor. Allah now proceeds by saying, وَلَا تُمْسِكُوهُنَّ ضِرَارًا لِتَعْتَدُوا. If such husband later resolves in reconciling with such divorcee, so and he take her back, he mustn't take her back with the mindset of what? Of punishing her, or with the mindset of maltreating her. So that means that Allah is telling us, whenever any rift occur between the husband and wife, if they later resort to divorce totally, or the husband is trying to reconcile, there must be an honor between the two things. Qur'an says, whosoever that take any human back, that is after he has divorced her for the first time or the second time, but he later think that the best thing for him to do is just to reconcile with her and take her back. And he takes such human back with the mindset of disgracing her, punishing her, maltreating her. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ. Whosoever that does that, فَقَدْ ظَلَمَ نَفْسَهُ. He has affected himself. He has betrayed himself. That is, such husband as what? Has betrayed himself. Because he is trying to subject himself to the punishment of Allah. In what way? The initial thing is that if you divorce your wife following the normal procedure, you are not going to be held responsible when it comes to those that okay, Allah is going to punish you. No. But if you can't do that, and later say, okay, you want to reconcile with her with the mindset of what? Continue punishing her. You don't want her you don't want any other man to have access to her to go and get married to any other person, and you are not ready to do the needful upon her. So such husband has subjected himself to the punishment of Allah. That is, he has done something. He has cheated himself. So Allah now said, وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا آيَاتِ اللَّهِ هُزُوًا. You shouldn't subject the signs, the verses of Allah to jest. Because if you look at the biography of Islam at the pre-Islamic eras, then they do just divorce women the way they like. So they will divorce women, having in mind that they are just making jest of them. They are doing such as a joke. Allah is now warning us that وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا آيَاتِ اللَّهِ هُزُوًا. You shouldn't take the verses, the signs of Allah, you shouldn't subject it to jest. وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ. You should as well remember the blessings of Allah upon you. If you look at the word ni'mah here, the way it is written, the word ni'mah supposed to be written with what? With taw marbuta, close tar. But it is written here with what? With open tar, which is to tell us that the blessings of Allah upon us is quite what? Enormous. That we cannot that we cannot even count it. So وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ. Both parties, that is the husband that is taking, that has resorted in taking such divorcee back, should as well think about the blessings of Allah upon him. وَمَا أَنزَلَ عَلَيْكُم مِّنَ الْكِتَابِ وَالْحِكْمَةِ يَعِظُكُم بِهِ. And you as well think about the what Allah has actually revealed for you, which is the glorious Qur'an, wal-hikmah, and all the rulings of Islam. Some Mufassirun said that the hikmah mentioned here, it is what? It means hadith, that is the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. While some said that we shouldn't restrict the meaning of hikmah here to hadith alone, that is anything that has to do with the rulings of Islam. So we should always what? Remember that for Allah to explain a certain rulings on a certain issue, it is just like a blessing for us, so that we know what we have the opportunity to do, and we as well know that what Allah doesn't want us to do. Allah said, "Ya'idhukum bihi." So He is preaching to you. Allah is what? Is preaching to you. It preaches to us that we should what? We should be mindful of our action. Wattaqullah. We should as well fear Allah. Wattaqullah. That is, such husband, both the parties, the two parties, the husband and the wife, we should as well know that either they later want to reconcile or they want to resort into divorce totally, both parties should as well fear Allah. Most especially the husband. You shouldn't divorce woman based on the fact that you have something, I mean, you have one grudge and something in mind against her, which is not even allowed. It is not even lawful for you to divorce such woman with that thing in your mind. And wa'alamu, you should know that Allah bi kulli shay'in alim. Verily, Allah is the all-knowing. Verily, Allah is the all-knowing. Now, my point is this, as I've started with, I said that the first verse that we just explained now is all about that of the rulings of talaq raj'i, that is a talaq that the husband still have access, that it is still lawful to such husband to just try to retract the action, his action, whereby the later resorted into reconciliation. So he will take the woman back. But the second verse now, it is just a message for the guardian. It is what? It is a message, great message for the guardians. It is telling us the importance of guidance in marriage. But before we go, I want us to look at the underlying place, so that the uniqueness of Arabic language over any other language. Look at it. The Quran. Oh, subhanallah. The previous page, because if I decide to just look at. I want to please let us just check the beginning of the first verse, which is verse 231. We have balagna. The same. Look at it. Quran said, "Wa idha talaqtumun nisaa fabalagna ajalahunna." The same way, Allah repeated it in the second verse here, where we still have
وَإِذَا طَلَّقْتُمُ النِّسَاءَ as well. That is here. If you look at it, compare it with the first one, you find. But my point is this: the word balagna here, we said the meaning we are going to appoint to it for the first one, we are going to treat it as a metaphor. That is, by the time the woman is almost getting close to the end of that waiting period. That was what for the first verse. But for the second verse here, it means that if you truly divorce woman, and such woman during the waiting period, she is under that same husband for the first month, during her cycle for the second month, for the third month, and balagna ajalahunna, and she reached the end of that waiting period. That is, the waiting period is over. But don't forget, my listeners, I'm still the only here is still all about that of the second, that of the either the first or the second type of divorce, which is what the act of what that the husband still have the opportunity to take such such human back, whereby, okay, the second one is now saying that by the time the waiting period is over, either for the first divorce or for the second divorce, if that waiting period is over now, good. And okay, the husband now say, okay, let me still consider her, and he wants to marry her back. Don't forget, the first one, the waiting period will not be over before the husband is going to reconcile with her. So that one, he doesn't have anything to just pay over her. But this one is telling us that by the time the waiting period is over, I think for the first talaq or the second talaq, so, and the husband now say, okay, I want to reconcile with her again. The rulings of Islam tells us that such husband has to pay the normal bride price over such woman. This is telling us that the Islam honors human. There is no any religion that values the position of woman as that of what the religion of Islam. So by the time the waiting period is now over for the first talaq or the second talaq, and the man say, okay, I want to reconcile with her, okay, you, the guidance of the woman, فَلَا تَعْدُلُوهُنَّ أَنْ يَنْكِحْنَ أَزْوَاجَهُنَّ. You shouldn't say, you shouldn't stand against the husband. You shouldn't instruct such woman not to just accept the apology of such husband back. Once again, this is just a message for the guidance that we shouldn't be an antagonist between the two parties. This is as well a lesson for husband and wife. I would like to tell us that, wallah, if we can follow this, we know that the best thing for both parties, that for husband and wife, is that whenever there's a risk between them, they shouldn't allow any third party to have access to what is between them, to know what is happening between them. They shouldn't call the intervention of third party, because whenever third party is being involved in what has transpired between them, I'm telling you, for them to resolve to reconciliation, it is only by Allah's wish. So لذلك أقول لحضراتكم إن السلامة الأسرة أن يظل الخلاف بين الزوج والزوجة. The very thing that can let everything work between both parties, that is between husband and wife perfectly, is that whenever there is any misunderstanding between them, they should just find a means of reconciling between each other. They shouldn't invite third party. They shouldn't what? They shouldn't invite third party. By the time they are trying to invite third party, it will now come to like Olympics, whereby they be counting what they be counting points for them. If you look at Quran chapter 4, Surah An-Nisa, verse 35, Allah said that by the time the husband, if you check verse 34, Allah is telling us, okay, the normal procedure that we need to follow before we start deciding to divorce. That okay, by the time the husband is just seeing some maybe attitude from the wife, and he knows, okay, I want to divorce her. He has followed the normal procedure by the act of what? Sitting her down, try to advise her, try to call her into what? To just call her and to call her attention that this thing that you are doing is not good. All those things like that. Quran now said there in Surah Nisa, Quran chapter 4, verse 35. Allah says that وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ شِقَاقَ بَيْنِهِمَا فَبَحَثُوا حَكَمًا مِنْ أَهْلِهِ وَحَكَمًا مِنْ أَهْلِهَا إِنْ يُرِيدَ إِصْلَاحًا يُوَفِّقِ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمَا. Allah said that when you are panic of what? A rift, that by the time there is a rift between the two parties, and you are panic that such rift resorted to maybe a divorce totally. You should now try to call the attention of a ruling party from the family of the husband, and as well try to look out for a ruling party as well from the family of the wife as well, so that they can come together with the mindset. Allah give one clause there that with the mindset, both parties that from both the husband family or the wife family, both parties must have it in mind that we are going there for reconciliation, not that I'm going there to go and take side, not that I'm going there to go and define to just go and protect the image of our daughter. No, they should have the pure mindset that we are going there to reconcile. If they have that mindset, Allah promised that He will surely guide them so as to get to the point whereby they are going to reconcile. Allah now proceeds by saying that by the time the husband has divorced a certain woman like that, and such woman waited for the 3 periods, that is the 3 months, and the month is over already. For the 3 months, yes, either for the first divorce or the second divorce. Once again, I'm quoting this one. It is not the third type of divorce this verse is talking about. That third type of divorce, which is known as Talaq Bainun al-Kubra, that one, it is when the husband is going to be deprived from getting married to such wife again, or else she'll go and marry another husband or whatever. But for the second or the first type of talaq, by the time the waiting period is over and the husband now call himself he's just trying to reason with her by taking her back, by paying the necessary right upon her again. The message for we guys is that we shouldn't stand against them. So far, there is an agreement. They still love each other. They still have feelings for both. For themselves. We shouldn't stand as maybe an obstacle for them. So إِذَا تَرَاضَى بَيْنَهُمْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. So far, both parties have the mindset of still continue again. So Allah said, ذَلِكَ يُوعَظُ بِهِ مَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. This is what Allah preaches to you. For those of you that truly believe in Allah, and for those of you that truly believe in the last day, once again, this is a warning for the guardian. We shouldn't be the one that is going to be saying that our daughter, we never go back to him. No, we shouldn't do that. We should always try to enjoy peace. And I continue by saying, ذَلِكُمْ أَزْكَى لَكُمْ وَأَطْهَرُ. That is the husband, that is the man, that is you men, for you to reconcile back, to take such wife back, it is the purer for you. It is the best thing. Let's now reason together. That's the story that the rate at which talaq, divorce, is affecting our societies of nowadays. Sincerely speaking, if we can try to reason with what Allah is telling us here, we know that the best thing for us is to always do the best of our knowledge so as to reconcile between the two parties, because the divorce is going to have a negative impact in the life of both the husband and the wife, most especially whenever the children are involved. No matter how, it's going to have the effect in their life, and it's going to even have an adverse effect in the society, in our society as well. If we even look at our society, we see many things there, but because of time, I might not be able to go deep into that. Allah said, "Dalikum azka lakum wa atwa." That is, you husband, for you to reconcile and take her back, it is just the best for you. It is the purer for you. Wallahu ya'lamu, and you should know that Allah knows. He is the all-knowing. Allah knows everything. He knows the blessing that He has preserved for you in taking such human back. Wa antum la ta'lamun. It is we that you can be saying that with this attitude of the husband, I believe that there cannot be any progress between them again. No, that is human being thinking. Allah has said it here that Wallahu ya'lam. Allah knows everything. But you, wa antum la ta'lamun, you do not know anything. No matter how expert you are, no matter how you are being called to settle quarrel between parties, many parties before, don't say that with this by visual inspection, I can say that this thing cannot work out between them. Don't say that. Allah said what? Wallahu ya'lam. Allah knows, but you, wa antum la ta'lamun, you do not know the blessings behind that reconciliation. That should not portray this point. We should always work tirelessly to ensure that we look forward for the way to reconcile between the two parties. If you now look at this, there is one particular hadith الذي روي عن علي بن أبي طالب وابن مسعود وأبي الدرداء كلهم قالوا ثلاث لا لعب فيهن واللاعب فيهن جاد. الأول النكاح، الثاني الطلاق، والثالث والعتاق. They said that there are three things that must not be subjected to jest. There are three things that I'm joking is not allowed in it. There are three certain things that, okay, I'm just joking, I'm just making jest of him. It's not allowed in it. And whosoever that we find playing with such three things, he must be taken serious. Once again, there are three things that it is not allowed for us to subject it to ridicule, to jest, to joke. And also we find that is just trying to joke with such things, we should let him know that what you've said with this action of yours, we are going to take it serious. What are those three things? The first thing is what? As zawaj. Anything that has to do with marriage. You shouldn't toy with it. Don't just try to toy with the feelings of woman by saying, I'm just joking. No. You propose to her and you're not saying, I'm just joking, I didn't mean it. No, we are going to take it serious. The second thing is what? At-talaq. Everything that has to do with with divorce. We shouldn't take it with levity and we shouldn't subject it to ridicule. We shouldn't subject it to jest. We shouldn't subject it to joke. Whosoever that we find doing such, we are going to take in serious. And the last thing is what? It is what is known as the act of releasing the captive. Don't say, I'm just joking. You just went to the police station to go and free someone in the captive. You're not saying, I'm just joking. No, you shouldn't joke with such. Now, that is the message Allah has for us in the first verse and the second verse. Now, let's now look at the last verse that we are going to just round up the tafsir with, which is the verse 233. 233. The first thing is that, is there any correlation between this verse and the two verses that come before it? There is a big connection between this verse and the one before it. The first thing is that if you look at all the rulings that we mentioned in the first verse, it's all about the process of what? Of talaq. This has to do with what? Okay, the waiting period. But the verse here is telling us that وَالْوَالِدَاتُ يُرْضِينَ أَوْلَادَهُنَّ حَوْلَيْنِ كَامِلَيْنِ لِمَنْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يُتِمَّ الرَّضَاعَةَ وعلى المولود له رزقهن وكسوتهن بالمعروف لا تكلف نفس إلا وسعها لا تضار والدة بولدها ولا مولود له بولده وعلى الوارث مثل ذلك فإن أرادا فصالا عن تراض منهما وتشاور فلا جناح عليهما وإن أردتم أن تسترضعوا أولادكم فلا جناح عليكم إذا سلمتم ما آتيتم بالمعروف واتقوا الله واعلموا أن الله بما تعملون بصير. Because of time, because the verses we are dealing with, Allah says speaking, if we pick a verse alone, Allah, an hour is not enough. But because of time, the connection between this verse and the two verses that we explain is, Allah said, wal walidat. The word there that precedes this verse is a conjunction telling us that all the rulings that we've made, all the aforementioned rules, the rulings that we've mentioned in the previous verses, is also applicable to the nursing mother. That is, if the divorcee now is a nursing mother, all what you've said there, that is going to remain or whatever, is still what? Is still applicable to her as well. And I said that for the nursing mothers as well, they have the right upon their child to breastfeed them for complete 2 years. Though there is a little, we need to expatiate this, but because of time, according to the Sharia says that the minimum months of pregnancy that if woman gets pregnant, that she can deliver such pregnancy, she can give birth to that pregnancy is 6 months. Anything less than 6 months is not possible. But from 6 months, some can be 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months. That's to tell us that Allah has even analyzed the so-called premature or whatever. So this verse is not telling us that for the mothers, the nursing mothers, they have the right upon their child to breastfeed them for complete 2 years. That is just for those that have the mindset of completing the duration of breastfeeding. If now look at it, this message, is it compulsory that it is under must for her to breastfeed the child for 2 months? Based on this verse, it means that is what Allah has enjoined for us, which the ulama also said that it has great benefit for that so-called child. Any child that the mother breastfeed him for 2 months, for 2 years, complete 2 years, such child will always be extraordinary genius. Will be extraordinary vibrant. Many things like that. So we are urging our parents, our women at home, our mothers, to always just try to just follow these rulings of Allah. They shouldn't look at the present situation. They should look at the future of such child. It's just as if they are trying to just prevent the future of such child. They are trying to contribute positive to the success of such child in the future by breastfeeding their child for complete 2 months. And the scholar now said that okay, add to that 2 years. There is nothing. It is not haram. It is not illegitimate for her if she wants to add. But to now say I will not breastfeed him for maybe up to 2 years. This one is not good enough. And if you now look at it, Allah is now telling us that If the divorcee, she's a nursing mother. So we should now say, okay, so far the husband has divorced her, she shouldn't have, we are to deprive her from breastfeeding her child. No, he has full right upon the child to breastfeed such child for 2 months. And during that period, I don't have proceed and for that the wife gave birth to. That is for the husband. That is for the father of that child that the wife gave birth to. He is going to be responsible for everything that the woman wants, both clothing, feeding. He must be the one to be responsible for such. He mustn't say that maybe I've divorced you, so I have no right to be buying pampers, to be buying food, to be paying it. No, he's going to be responsible for all the necessary needs of such nursing mother. Not only that, he should always he should be the one responsible for clothing her as well, both for the woman and for taking care of the child as well. So I believe you are with me. So the second thing Allah is now telling us is that, but the so-called right that we said that this nursing mother have upon them from the husband, it has a male. It was a male. لا تكلف نفس إلا وسعها. We shouldn't put anybody upon any soul. And Allah did not lay anybody upon any soul. Allah will not initiate any rules in Sharia, in Islam, or else that he must have taken us into consideration. He must have looking at the adverse effect, both the positive and negative that it might bring for us. If we look at all those things that these rulings of taking care of the nursing mother must not cause for putting any burden upon yourself. And the woman as well mustn't be requesting for much, for what the husband will not be able to afford. So we should always take note of this. The Quran proceeds by saying, "La tudorra walidatun biwaladiha, wala mawludun lahu biwaladihi." Again, "La tudorra walidatun biwaladiha, wala mawludun lahu biwaladihi." That is, we shouldn't do anything that is going to affect the father by claiming that, is it not because of your child I'm breastfeeding? You are not demanding for something that you cannot afford. No. And we shouldn't as well do something that is going to have effect, that is going to serve as a burden for the woman as well, by saying it is your responsibility to breastfeed her, to just breastfeed the child. So far I've divorced you, I'm not going to be responsible for anything. No, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't maltreat women for that. And the Quran says as well by saying, وَعَلَى الْوَارِثِ مِثْلُ ذَلِكَ. Let's assume now, the husband is no more alive. For those that are entitled to inherit such husband as well, all what we've said now, that it is the husband that is going to be responsible for the feeding, clothing of the nursing mother. So there was someone that is in the position to inherit that husband that is no more again. Maybe with the wish of Allah, maybe after he has pronounced the talaq for the wife, maybe he died after that. So that so-called period, the right that is supposed to do is still what the one that is in charge, that is that also has the right to inherit such husband as well, must be the one to be responsible for all the clothing, feeding, and all any other expenses that comes up under the breastfeeding of the child. The Quran now proceeds by saying, فَإِنْ أَرَادَ فِصَالًا أَنْ تَرَادٍ مِنْهُمَا. If during the period of breastfeeding the child, maybe either it is almost 2 years as prescribed by the Quran, and you now want to what? You are thinking of winning such child, it must be a mutual agreement between the father and the mother of the child. It mustn't be a self-determination by saying, I have the 100% right so as to win the child without informing the father of the child. No, it must be a kind of a ritual agreement between both the father and the mother before they are going to win such child. And not only that, and we should as well look at a particular angle, that we should look at it that, okay, we've agreed that we want to win the child, but is it, by winning the child, is it going to be a great benefit for the child? If it's going to be a great benefit for the child, it's perfect. But if you know that winning such child at that period, at that moment, is going to have effect on such child, it is not allowed. It is illegitimate for both the father and the mother to win such child. Please let us take note of this area. Once again, it must be a mutual agreement between the father and the mother before they are going to win their child. And you should as well look at the merit, the importance. They should as well look at the benefits of such child in winning such child at that moment. If it's going to have effect on the child, they shouldn't proceed with that winning anymore. The Quran says, so by the time they've reconciled, they've agreed together to win such child, so they should just proceed by doing such. And as well, Quran now said, فَإِنْ أَرَادَ فِصَالًا أَنْ تَرَادٍ مِنْهُمَا فَتَشَاوُرٍ good. فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَا. There is no any sin, or they will not be penalized for winning their child. So far, they both sit down, they rub minds together, they come to conclusion that, okay, let's win the child. So far that winning the child now cannot have any negative effect on the child. So they will not be penalized for such. They should just continue. But Allah now proceed by saying, وَإِنْ أَرَدْتُمْ أَنْ تَسْتَرْضِعُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ. All what you've said so far is all about, okay, if that divorcee, that is that woman that we divorce, is still the one that woman that we divorce, if she is a breastfeeding mother, and she is the one that we have chosen to still breastfeed that our child that she gave birth to for us. But I don't now proceed by saying that we're in aradtum. So far we've known that for the waiting period of any pregnant woman that maybe her husband divorced her, the waiting period for her is by the time she gives birth to that pregnancy, the waiting period is over for her. She can go that time. She can drop the child and leave. But if we've now choosing her to be the one that is going to as well feed such child, so that is the rulings of Allah in that area, that we should be responsible for all the necessary things upon our whatever. The Quran has said here that وَإِنْ أَرَدْتُمْ أَنْ تَسْتَرْضِعُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ. If such divorce, which is what the one that after the woman, the wife gives birth to the child, and she has making up her mind that she's leaving, that she's not ready to breastfeed the child, and we now want to search for another nursing mother to breastfeed such child. Quran is saying that it is lawful for us in Islam. It is allowed. If we see that allowing this woman to breastfeed such child, maybe she has maybe an evil act, an evil, maybe anything that is bad or whatever, anything like that, that's going to be a kind of it's going to have any negative effect on that particular child. We can decide not to allow her to breastfeed, but we should fear Allah in this. We shouldn't just say that we are not allowing her to breastfeed the child. So if you now resort to look for any other breastfeeding mother around us. Quran say that فَإِنْ أَرَدْتُمْ أَنْ تَسْتَرْضِعُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ, if you are looking for any other nursing mother to breastfeed your child, فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْكُمْ, this one as well is allowed in Islam. There is no any sin in that. There is no anyone, and inshallah, I'm going to the end of it, inshallah. So there is no anyone, you will not be held responsible. I mean, there is no anything against you. So it is allowed in Islam to just do such as well. So far that you are ready to pay for the breastfeeding mother that actually acquired to breastfeed your child, say that wattaqullah, you should always fear Allah in all these process. We should fear Allah, both the nursing mother and both the father of the child. We should always fear Allah Ta'ala. And we should always, Allah sees everything we are doing. In conclusion, Allah sees what everything we are doing. So now, just quickly summarize what we've discussed today. The synopsis of the verse, the 3 verses are: the first thing is that Quran is trying to forbid for men to have the mindset of cheating human by saying that they are divorcing them. That is, the Quran forbids it for men to have that bad thought, that mind of I want to punish her. So Quran forbids it for us. Second thing is that the Islamic rules still reserve the right of woman over her child, so that it is the right of the woman, the breastfeeding mother, to still to breastfeed the child, either at the period of divorce or not. The third thing I want us to as well count as the synopsis of this verse is that Nahallahu zawjayn an ittikhadil awlad wasilatan idrab al-akhar. Allah has forbid for both father and the mother, for both parties, to take the advantage of the child between them, so as to now be maltreating each other. So you've divorced me, right, Abi? And you've chosen me to be the one to breastfeed your child for you. I will maltreat you. I'm going to let the world be unbearable for you. You shouldn't do that. And lastly, and may Allah accept all our ibadat. The verses we explained today is telling us that for any marriage to work out, or let me say this, any marriage that has been controlled, that is under the control of either family, either friend, either any guardian, such marriage cannot work out. Whenever there is rift between the two parties, they should always try to sit down, call themselves, and try to reconcile without allowing third party to come into them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our homes. May He protect all the marriage of nowadays youth. أقول هذا أستغفر الله ولكم. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان العظيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you so much, our lecturer, Ustaz Mustafa Muslihuddin. May Almighty Allah Subhanahu keep on blessing you with a bounty knowledge. Ilman, ibadah, ta'ala. Shukran, jazakallah khair, ya Sheikh. Now we are heading to the next program, which is Al-Wazifa. We urge everyone that has no ablution, please go and do your ablution and join us on a Wazifa. Nam niyatul Wazifa, Allahumma inni nawaitu an ataqarraba ilayka bitilawati wuridil Wazifa في طريقة شيخنا حمد التيجاني امتثالا لأمر الله وتعصيما وما بطن في رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. استغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم. أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم. أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي هذه إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر ومقدار العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لمن سبق نصر الله براكي ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق ولا هادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. فإنما أنه لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله. سيدنا محمد رسول الله عليه سلام الله. اللهم صل وسلم على عين رحمة الربانية والياقوتة المتحققة العائدة بمركز الفون والمعاني ونور الأكوان متكونة الآدمي صيب الأكرباني البارك الأكثر بمنزل الآباء ملات كل متعارف مذبور والأواني ونور كلام العظيم ولا تبي كونك العائدة بأمكنة المكان. اللهم صل وسلم على عين الأكل التي تيامين وشل أقوائك عين نمار في الأقوام صراطك تملي أسقمي. اللهم صل وسلم على طلعة الحاكم الحاكم كنز العظم عبارتك منك إليك يا تظلم التصمي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله صلاة توافق بأيها. اللهم صل وسلم على عين رحمة ربانية والياقوت المتحققة العائدة بما تزلفون من المعاني والنور الأكوان متكونة الآدمي صيب الأكرباني تبارك الأسطى بمنزل الآباء مليات كل مطار نور والأواني ونور كلام الذي ولا تبي كونك العيدة بأمكنة المكان. اللهم صل وسلم على عين الأكل التي تيامين وشل أقوائك عين نمار في الأقوام صراطك تملي أسقمي. اللهم صل وسلم على طلعة الحاكم الحاكم كنز العظم عبارتك منك إليك يا المتسمي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله صلاة توافق بأيها. اللهم صل وسلم على عين رحمة ربانية والياقوتة المتحققة العائدة بمركز الفهوم والمعاني ونور الأكوان متكونة الآدمي صاحب الأكرباني بارك الأقصى بما صلى بهم ولا تكل مطار منبور والأواني والنور كلام الذي ولا تبي كونك لا تتبع يمكن المكان اللهم صل وسلم على عين الحق التي من وشلاقائك عين المعرف الأقوام صراطك تمل أسقمي اللهم صل وسلم على ثلاث الآكب الآكب كنسل أعظمي إفادتك منك إليك يا ذا المتصمي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله صلاة الله بأيام اللهم صل وسلم على حين رحمة ربانية وليأخذ متكفة العيدة بما الغاسل الفهوم والمعاني ونور الأكوان متكونة العالمين سبب الأقرباني البارك الأقصى بمن صلى أبائي ولا تكل متعارض منظور والأواني ونور كلام الذي ولا تبي كونك لا يتبع بنة المكان اللهم صل وسلم على عين الآكل التي ترى من وشلا قونك عين ما في الأقوام صراطك تمل أسقمي اللهم صل وسلم على ثلاث الأكمل كنز العظمي إفادتك منك إليك يا ذا المتسمي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله صلاة توافنا بها اللهم صل وسلم على عين رحمة ربانية والياقوتة متحققة العيدة من كسر الفهوم المعاني ونور الأكوان متكونة العالمين صاحب الأكرباني أنوار كل أقصى من ظل أبائي ملأت كل متعارض نذور والأواني والنور كلام العظيم لا تبي كونك لا تتبع يمكنة المكان اللهم صل وسلم على عين الأكل التامن وشلا قويك عين ما في الأقوام صراطك تمل أسقمي اللهم صل وسلم على ثلاث الأكل الأكل أنصر عظمي إفادتك منك إليك يا ذو المتسمي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله صلاة الله بها اللهم صل وسلم على عين رحمة ربانية والياقوتة متحققة العيدة من كسر الفهوم والمعاني والنور الأكوان متكونة الآدمي سبب الأكرباني البارك الأقصى بما صلى أبائي مليات كل متعارف منظور والأواني النور كلام العظيم ولا تبي كونك العيدة من كنة المكان اللهم صل وسلم على عين الأكل التي ترى من وشلا قوائك عين المعرف الأقوام صراطك تمل أسقمي اللهم صل وسلم على ثلاث الأكمل كنز العظم إفادتك منك إليك يا ذا المتصمي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله صلاة توافنا بها اللهم صل وسلم على عين رحمة ربانية والياقوتة المتحققة العيدة من كسر الفهوم والمعاني والنور الأكوان متكونة آدمي صاحب الأكرباني البارك الأقصى بما صلى بهم ولا تكن متعارض منظور والأواني ونور كلام العظيم ولا تبي كونك لا تتبع يمكنة المكان اللهم صل وسلم على عين الأكل التي تجا من وشلا قوعك حين ما في الأكوام صراطك تمل أسقمي اللهم صل وسلم على ثلاث الأكل الأكل كنز العظم إفادتك منك إليك يا ذو المتسمي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله صلاة توافنا بها اللهم صل وسلم على عين رحمة ربانية والياقوتة متحققة العيبة بمركز الفهوم والمعاني والنور الأكوان متكونة الآدمي صاحب الأكرباني البارك الأقصى بمصل بهم ولا كل مضار منظور والأواني ونور كلام الذي ولا تبي كونك لا تتبع يمكنة المكان اللهم صل وسلم على عين الأكل التي تجا من وشلا قوائك عين المعرف الأكوام صراطك تمل أسقمي اللهم صل وسلم على ثلاث الأكمل كنز العظم إفادتك منك إليك يا ذا المتصمي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله صلاة توافنا بها اللهم صل وسلم على عين رحمة ربانية والياقوتة متحققة العيدة بمركز الفهوم والمهاني ونور الأكوان متكونة الآدمي صاحب الأقرباني البارك الأقصى بمن صلى بهم ولا تكن متعارف منظور والأواني ونور كلام العظيم ولا تبي كونك لا تتبع يمكنة المكان اللهم صل وسلم على عين الأكل التي تجا من وشلا قوائك عين المعرف الأقوام صراطك تمل أسقمي اللهم صل وسلم على ثلاث الأكل كنز العظم إفادتك منك إليك يا ذا المتسمي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله صلاة توافنا بها اللهم صل وسلم على عين رحمة ربانية والياقوتة متحققة العيدة من كسر الفهوم والمعاني والنور الأكوان متكونة الآدمي صاحب الأكرباني البارك الأقصى بمصل بهم ولا تكن متعارض منظور والأواني ونور كلام الذي ولا تبي كونك لا يمكنك المكان اللهم صل وسلم على عين الأكل التي تجا من وشلا قوائك عين المعرف الأقوام صراطك تمل أسقمي اللهم صل وسلم على ثلاث الأكمل كنز العظم إفادتك منك إليك يا ذا المتسمي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله صلاة توافنا بها اللهم صل وسلم على عين رحمة ربانية والياقوتة المتحققة العيدة من كسر الفهوم والمعاني ونور الأكوان متكونة العدم صاحب الأكرباني البارك الأكتب من صلى نور كلام الذي ملأت به كونك سلم على عين الأكل التي تجا من أوشر الأقوائك عين معرف الأقوام من صراطك تميل أسقمي اللهم صل وسلم على ثلاث الأكل بالأكل كنز العظم إفادتك منك إليك يا المتسمي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله صلاة وبارك نبيئة اللهم صل وسلم على عين رحمة ربانية والياقوتة متككة العيدة بمركز الفهوم والمعاني والنور الأكوان متكونة الآدم صيب الأكرباني البارك الأكثر بمنزل الآباء ملات كل متعرض مذكور بالأواني ونور كلام الذي ملات بكونك رأيت بمكنة المكان اللهم صل وسلم على عين الأكل التي تأمن وشراء قويك عين المعرف الأقوام سرورتك تميل أسقمي اللهم صل وسلم على ثلاث الأكل بالأكل كنسر عظمي إفادتك منك إليك يا المتصمي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله صلاة الله نبيئة إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلم تسليما وصلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم أنت الأول فليس قبلك شيء وأنت الآخر فليس بعدك شيء وأنت الظاهر فليس فوقك شيء وأنت الباطن فليس دونك شيء فكن لنا يا أول يا آخر يا زر يا باطن ولي ونصير أنت ولينا ولنا فنعم المولى ونعم النصير اللهم إنا نسألك بفاتحة الفاتحة فاتحة تامة وبخاتمة الهاتم لحسن الختام اللهم إنا نسألك من خير كل آجل وآجل ما نمت منه وما لم أعلم ونعوذ بك من شر كل آجل وآجل ما نمت منه وما لم أعلم اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من كل عمل ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من كل عمل اللهم إنا نسألك لعفو والعافية ولمعافة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة اللهم إن النسيها لك ردك ورد نبيك ورد الأشياخ ورد الوالدين اللهم اجعل ما نحب فيما تحب اللهم اجعل في اختيارك اختيارنا ولا تجعل إليك اختيارنا يا ربنا يا خالق الأول بيننا وبين كل ظالم واجز لكل منين أذن وجزيا الجزاء حسنا اللهم ارفع عنا الجهاد والجوع والأولياء واكشف عنا من البلاء والأشواق ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملت على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تؤمنا ما لا تقبل لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إننا سمينا مناديا ينادي للإيمان آمن بربكم فآمنا ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد ربنا سلامنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وكبيرنا وصغيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا وحاضرنا وغائبنا وأرنا وأذنا وطعنا وأذنا اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق الناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر امتدار العظيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل 50-50. Ya Lateef 129. Ya Jami 114. Ya Ma'id 124. Ya Ka'afi 111. Alhamdulillah 100. صلاة الفاتحة دي يا النبي ومحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. صلاة الفاتحة دي شيخنا علاج أحمد التيجاني رضي الله تعالى عنه. صلاة الفاتحة دي شيخنا علاج إبراهيم إياس الكولك رضي الله تعالى عنه. صلاة الفاتحة دي شيخنا علاج محمد الأول وطلوني وبالو مكور رضي الله تعالى عنه. صلاة الفاتحة دي شيخنا علاج آل السيسي محمد الأول باب الأدرع فانقض رضي الله تعالى عنه. فاتحة لقد جاء كليلا في صلاة الفاتحة دي شيخنا علاج إسحاق الأدمجي خليفة شيخنا محمد الأول حفظه الله تعالى. فاتحة لقد جاء كليلا في صلاة الفاتحة دي سيدة حمدلله بالوادي شوا حفظه الله تعالى. نعطينا صلاة الفاتحة دي فمبوا ومن يولون لقب رضي الله تعالى عنه. نعطينا صلاة الفاتحة دي أفهم بقول صفات اللي تكو ولا مشى مليوا ولا ما ديوا ولا ما دام ما فراني ما فيسن شو ولا مشى بدرا ولا نعطينا صلاة الفاتحة نعطينا صلاة الفاتحة دي أفهم بقول أمو بي ولا بالله رمي ولا هلا في أمي قول أرس ولا باشيف ولا باكم وجبان كمان كتير لا كل والله صلاة الفاتحة دي أفهم بقول كو مسلمي ولا باكم باجي قاشي ولا لما تسافر لما يافن فالنبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم آمين السلام عليكم شيخ سعيد باكي السلام عليكم سر
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله، جزاكم الله خير. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. صلاة أنت جل النور دائما في أبصارنا واليقين في قلوبنا والعافية في أبداننا والذكرك في الليل والنهار دائما في ألسنتنا والعمل الصالح في جوارحنا ويسر علينا مطلوبنا ويسر علينا مطلوبنا ويسر علينا مطلوبنا وأوجب لنا رضوانك وكرامك وجودك وإحسانك وامتنانك يا الله يا جواد يا كريم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. صلى الله عليه الكريم.
صلى الله عليه وسلم. شكرا جزاك الله خيرا يا شيخ. Now we call on our Sayyidah if she is available. Assalamu alaikum Sayyidah Hamdallah Bello.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. آمين 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 يا رب العالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين. صلوا على النبي.
صلى الله عليه وسلم. Shukran jazakallah khairan. Now Alaja Allah Taju Salamu alaikum ma. If there is any information ma. نعم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح المغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدر القدر العظيم. صل وسلم يا إلهي على رسول المصطفى. صل وسلم يا إلهي على رسول المصطفى. سلام عليك يا حبيبي نور الله مصطفى. صل وسلم يا إلهي على رسول المصطفى. سلام عليك يا ملابي يا محبوب أصفيائي. صل وسلم يا إلهي على رسول المصطفى. أحبك قلبي دائما أواك حبيب مصطفى. صل وسلم يا إلهي على رسول المصطفى. متى ألقاك يا ربي سيف الله إبيائي. صل وسلم يا إلهي على رسول المصطفى. آمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح المغلق والخاتم لما سبق ونصر الله بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره وامتدار العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Amen. Bye everyone.